Ladies and gentlemen, the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations came to a close. Like we all know, the African continent is filled with magical displays when it comes to football, and we were served with two excellent games, a third place match, and the final itself. This is Footy Fantasy, the home of football. Please come here for all of your football needs. We do cover club football and international football. Like, share, and subscribe accordingly. We'll start with the third place match, which was between Egypt, the Pharaohs of Egypt, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, a game that ended goalless and had to be decided. And after the 90 minutes, went straight into penalty kicks, which the Nigerian Super Eagles won by 4-2. Rabia and Mahmoud Sabia converted their penalty kicks, and unfortunately, Omar Mamouche and Mohamed Salah missed their kicks. For Nigerian team, Ademola Lookman, Ako Adams, the Mercurial Alexi Wobi, and Moses Simon all converted their penalty kicks to hand Nigeria a record ninth bronze medal at AFCON. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have been we have due a fifth AFCON, and we're still on the third AFCON. Hopefully, the next one we the Super Eagles of Nigeria can be lucky. But it was a kind of a competitive third place match. In fact, the goal was cancelled, ruled offside by Ako Adams. Goal was cancelled and ruled offside. Otherwise, it was a good, entertaining game that had to be decided by penalty. I think the two captains decided the game shouldn't go into extra time and should go straight to penalties, and the Nigerians came out victorious. And for the final match, which at the Mohamed Abdallah Stadium, Senegal versus Morocco, a game that was filled with drama, a game that was filled with action, controversy, everything rolled up in one. And it was decided by a 94th minute wonder strike by Pap Gueye, a guy that has been excellent at this tournament for the Teranga Lions. Sadio Mane was also influential in this game and rolled back the clock to put in a real stellar performance. The game was pretty much end to end. It was filled with action. The Moroccan team had their 12th man in the crowd. You know, they're the host, so they got all of the deserved home support. They've enjoyed that throughout the tournament, and also some favorable officiating that again reared its ugly head in the final. Where, well, if you ask me, the penalty, the foul claim that had the Senegalese goal disallowed was pretty much soft, very soft. I think Ashraf Hakimi made a meal out of pretty much a tap, and he fell down. I mean, I guess by the rule of the game, there was contact, therefore the goal was disallowed. And unfortunately, what was the penalty decision against Senegal was actually the right call. But the Senegalese felt some kind of way, and they were very bitter. In fact, the Senegalese team had to get off the field, and most of the team went to the dressing room. And Sadio Mane showed incredible level of leadership and maturity to call them back to finish the game. And unfortunately, Brahim Diaz, which you could tell, it's almost like everyone says it was scripted, but I don't think so. I think Brahim Diaz, you know, like it showed in other games, he's a left footer, but he takes penalty with the right foot. Players who are like that. And he chose the Panenka in such a crucial game. You know, had confidence in himself. These powerful footballers, sometimes they bet only against themselves. So he held the destinies in his hands and decided for the Panenka, which Edouard Mendy stood, pretty much was about to dive, but then stood and grabbed the ball, and it was a real show of shame for Brahim Diaz. But then you can't blame him. it's been done before. The great Zinedine Zidane did it in 2006, where he panenkered the ball and scored off the crossbar against Gianluigi Buffon. So it happens, and I think Brahim Diaz in the moment had confidence in himself to convert. But then the Teranga Lions are champions of Africa in a game that was filled with everything. Congratulations to Senegal for a real brilliant tournament. They've been the best team, well deserved. They were the best team in the final. They were the better team in the final match, and were well rewarded by being African champions. And Sadio Mane putting up a real masterclass performance alongside Idrissa Gana Gueye and Nusser Mazraoui from Morocco played exceptionally well. And the defensive midfielder for Morocco that also got injured has been stellar in this competition. That's another one to get a huge shout out. But then, yeah, it was a good tournament. Ended on a very high note, filled with controversy and drama. I think for the neutral, it was entertaining. But for we Africans, I think the Confederation of African Football, it needs to set a standard. There were questionable officiating at this AFCON, but I hope that won't rear its ugly head come 2027. Now, there's been so many teams announced as team of the tournament, but this has gone as official as possible, and this was published on Yahoo Sports. So at goal, this is the unofficial official team of the tournament, however you have to put it, but CAF hasn't published anything official, but I think we would go with this for now. Edouard Mendy in goal, Crepin Diata of Senegal as right back, Calvin Bassey and Yasser Ibrahim of Egypt central defense, Nusser Mazraoui left back. In midfield, Pape Gueye, Idrissa Gueye, both of Senegal, Ademola Lookman of Nigeria as a three-man midfield, and in attack, on the left side of the attack, Sadio Mane, you have Brahim Diaz, and Nigeria's Victor Osimhen. So that's the official or unofficial team of the tournament. And of course, shout out to Mohamed Salah, Alexi Iwobi, Lassine Sinayoko, Christian Koufane of Cameroon had a good tournament. Eman Asho, a real promising El Ali guy from Egypt, the attacking midfielder. And of course, Ahmad Diallo, just to mention a few who have set themselves apart in this tournament. And also, Brahim Diaz became the first, joined the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen who have scored in 5 consecutive games at the AFCON. You have Ndaye Mulumba, who did it for Zaire at Egypt 74. We had Mohamed Gedo of Egypt that did it in Angola 2010, and Vincent Abubakar, who did it when Cameroon hosted it in 2021. So that has been the conclusion of the African Cup of Nations. The flag has been passed to Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda for August 2027, who they will host the AFCON, and this will be the last one for odd-numbered years. At that AFCON, there will be 4 venues in Tanzania, 3 in Kenya and Uganda, respectively. So that's the story of AFCON. We live to fight another day. It was a brilliant tournament, and we thank Morocco for hosting it, showing that Africa at least has infrastructure to host, and Morocco are in line to host the 2030 World Cup. It was a brilliant tournament, if you ask me. Typically, AFCON is filled with everything that you can ask for, from drama to controversy to good football to good officiating to good VAR decision to bad VAR decision. You get everything in AFCON. But it was a special tournament, unveiling good players and good coaches, good tactical displays, and of course controversy. But we will regroup in 2027. Hopefully Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will go a level up to what Morocco has served us in 2025-26. Thank you so much for tuning in for all of these games, and of course it doesn't end here. We have the European leagues that will still go on, and of course we have international breaks, and we'll still cover it on this channel as we go. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share peace, share joy, share happiness, and let's keep protecting this beautiful game called football. Stay in peace, and God bless.